Today we're going to discuss how to write an observation essay. This actually just kind of continues our reflective essay. You're going to still describe things, you're still going to reflect things, but I want you to get a little deeper into it. I want you to see through just the physical orientation, the physical actions, and I want you to get into a more socially scientific awareness of what's going on. So the focus of this essay is on discourse communities. Well, what is a discourse community? According to dictionary.com, discourse is communication of thought by words, talk, or conversation. A community is a social group of any size whose members reside in a specific locality, share government, and often have a common cultural and historical heritage. So a discourse community is basically how a social group will speak to one another. In this essay, we will focus on how people talk through an issue or a problem. Where do they start? Where do you start a particular discussion with somebody that either you sort of know or don't know or know really well? What sort of words are used? What words or subjects or terms are avoided? How do people position themselves to each other physically? What sorts of body language do they use? How do they resolve issues in discussion whenever there are lapses in how these two communities can connect or discuss with each other? So for this essay, first I want you to observe members of community engaged in discourse. There will be an in-class activity that you can totally use for this particular observation, or you can go out in the world and observe two people and document it. Now, should you decide to go out in the world and document it, don't be a creep about it and hang around eavesdropping on strangers. Either get permission from the people involved or situate yourself to where no one will suspect what you're up to. There's no reason to get involved in a fight over this project, and the university frowns greatly upon such behavior. Next, I want you to, as you're observing, I want you to take notes, and I want you to take way more notes than you think you'll need. And there is a lot to take notes on. I want you to observe things like, the age of the participants. I want you to consider their sex or gender or, whether or not you can tell that. I want you to consider economic status. And I don't want you to stereotype, but let's be honest, people can say a lot about themselves through their clothing and appearance and actions. I want you to consider relation. Are these people family, friends, strangers, coworkers? I want you to notice their differences. I want you to look at phrases. I want you to consider slang terms, colloquialisms, analogies, cliches, cultural references. I want you to try and get as many specific quotes as you can of these things, because these can be tags as far as what discourse communities these people belong to. I want you to look at physical distance and position. Are these people standing? Are they sitting? Are they far apart? Are they close together? I want you to look at body language. Are their arms flailing around? Are their hands hidden? Are they making eye contact? Are they fidgeting? What are these people doing physically besides just talking? I want you to note the tone and volume of voice. Are these people quiet? Are they shouting? Are they whispering? Are they high-pitched? Are they low-pitched? Are they fevered? Who knows? And I want you to consider the environment that these people are discussing. And is it a noisy classroom? Is it an outdoor cafe? Is it a restaurant? Is it a playground? Is it a public or private space? Once you've got all these notes, I want you to compile them and start to write a narrative, which, again, a narrative is just that. It's a story. I want you to tell a story about the event, but I want you to show us what's happening. How are these people talking? What details do you observe that are interesting? Is they wearing funny hats? Or are they, doing drugs? Who knows? And then I want you to identify what communities you were observing. I want you to discuss how those differences in those communities matter or affect the discourse that's happening. So if you've got a student and a professional talking, how has their speech changed? What notable differences? What are they avoiding and what are they not avoiding? I want you to walk the reader through the event, how it unfolds, how it resolves, if at all. Then I want you to make an observation. I want you to look at this incident, and I want to know what you think it says about the discourse communities that these actors are involved in. What inferences can you draw from this situation? What does it say about humanity, the human condition? I want you to use your reflection and descriptive language skills from the reflective essay to make a statement about culture, our culture, the participants' culture, just culture in general. How do people get along? For this essay, you're an outsider. You're an observer. You're the other. Science has shown that observing any event will change how that event unfolds. So I want you to keep this in mind as you reflect on your observation. Is your watching changing this situation? As you reflect on what you observed, I want you to stick to a non-judgmental scientific tone. I don't want you to judge people. The only difference between you and them is an invisible social barrier that's just kind of arbitrary and just kind of there. I want you to be respectful. Now, there are some cheats on writing this essay. The first thing you need to be really, really clear on is like center on your organization. Like, how are you going to piece this thing together? You're going to just start with like detailing the events. Are you going to lead in with like, this is a situation where, you got David talking with Goliath. You've got, the rich talking with the poor, or you got the poor talking with the poor, the rich talking with the rich. Like, what's the best way to start with these things? I want you to work in as many details as possible. As in the last essay, details will do a lot of work for you. Instead of having to physically describe things, a lot of times you can just let people talk, and that will establish their particular like discourse community. Dialogue works wonders in this essay. And again, because it provides these details. But you can summarize. It's fine, because sometimes talk gets too distracted. Now, when you're reflecting on this observation, I want you to think about how you talk to your friends and how your speech changes between when you talk to coworkers or kin or people that are older than you or people that are younger than you, and also like the particular situation, how that affects your speech. By looking at it in this way, you will begin to see communication as more than just a simple like argument over who should be president, and instead it's more about like, where are these people at? Like, what are they mad about? Do they really even care about these issues? Like, I want you to get into these things. You were looking through language, and you would see language as a carrier for all this other baggage. So I want you to really dig into this. We're going to practice this a lot, so don't freak out. We'll get through it.